Greetings, I am Lice.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a Mortician's Tale together.
Yes.
So we are on the topic of death with this game and handling of the bodies afterwards.
Yes.
All right. So I thought I'd pass this along to you. Let's see.
Thank you for the service the other month. I apologize if I was abrupt. Kind of a shock for me. Didn't feel comfortable with the whole process. He wasn't supposed to die yet. It hasn't been easy.
Ooh.
Forward, our son.
All right. Charlie, I was hoping you wouldn't have to confront the situation yet. Anyways, they're never easy. Rose and Daughters has been asked to prepare the body of a young man who took his own life. He had a will prepared and asked for cremation, but the family has demanded a traditional burial instead. Unfortunately, he didn't make anyone his power of attorney or didn't have any witness sign his living will or his advance directive regarding these wishes, so his family is legally in the right to do whatever they want with his body. It's unfortunate, but we have to do as his family wishes. Matthew has graciously offered to take on this if you are uncomfortable with the subject. Instead, we have a second body you can prepare for a funeral we're hosting later in the afternoon. Charlie, is this suicide something you're comfortable dealing with? Let me know. I'm here if you need me. Our son.
And good day, Mrs. Rose. Disregard our son's will as it concerns matters of his burial. He was clearly not thinking right and didn't know what he really wanted. Proceed with an open casket funeral. As for payment, we will bring a check. That feels incredibly disrespectful.
Okay, so I'm getting more and more the feel of this game is that you're dealing with not only the taboo of death and of bodies and of cremation and of handling basically the mortician's work, but you're also dealing with, again, the conflicts and questions and challenges
the social
that surround
confrontations.
Death.
Yeah.
In the ones where we talked about embalming or not embalming or what their wishes were, things like that. These are important. And for me, having had a couple of my older relatives die and there being incredible squabbles over their wills, and for me going, I don't care what they said they wanted to do. They could have donated all of their money to a chicken farm in Iowa.
Right.
Like, it should go wherever they say. And I don't know. I don't really worry as much for my few relatives that have died that I've been connected to about whether or not they were in their right mind, especially in reference to their money, because that's been one of the arguments.
Right. Well, in this case, though, I'm like...
This is a very sensitive issue. I'm like, that is your own body, but it's not your body anymore. Because you're not there with it, depending on what you believe.
Which one do you want to go with? Because the thing is now in this case, I can imagine they put this in actually because potentially it's because it's a suicide, one. And we don't know what this is going to look like, so we've never played this game before. Again,
not at all.
So we don't know what this is going to look like, so I apologize in advance. If any of this content is triggering, I will not feel bad. Your Uncle Scandal will not feel bad if you decide to go somewhere else. Please take care of yourselves. There is no reason for you to continue watching us. We appreciate your support, but dang, take care of yourself.
But yeah, this is serious time.
So I don't know.
I'm not sure I like the language of yes, I'm comfortable with this, but we're not talking about comfortable with their decisions. We're talking about I can execute this part of my job.
Right, because it still has to happen.
And it's going to legally happen. That's part of your world.
Right.
There's no way you can help the wishes of this, person who is not a person anymore.
Yeah.
They have no rights anymore. It's just a body.
Honestly, though, that argument that I always love, so there was an interesting thing from Philosophy Tube, where he discussed at one point that there is this uncomfortable line in philosophy where they're talking about basically the morality behind choosing to commit suicide. And he discusses at one point that there's actually a debate of going that there is the possibility that people don't want to confront, that there are some people, because they always argue that when you commit suicide, you're not in your right mind. And it's like, but there's always that possibility actually where they're going, it's quite possible that there are plenty of people who have committed suicide who are perfectly in their right mind and know exactly what decisions they're making.
An educated and informed decision based on all the knowledge they have. We will link to that video in here so that you can go and watch it if you want. He is very sensitive about the topic.
Yes, he is excellent.
So for me, I'm going to say yes, I'm comfortable with this because
I would also
that's your
say
job.
That too.
But again, we don't know what this body will be like, so please take care of yourself as the viewer.
Yes, because again, there are things that also we have been uncomfortable with ourselves.
A little bit already.
So please do not feel, again, bad. This is unique for us. This is a fascinating experience, though, to have you on if this is something that you want to get involved with. Oh, poor thing.
Yeah. All right.
So I asked for an open casket. Start by cleaning the body.
Let's clean him up. Hello, individual.
I feel so. I'm kind of having this quiet thing of going, I feel for you.
This reminds me a little bit of the story of the Doll's House in Neil Gaiman. How the main character, Barbie, her good friend, and I cannot remember, I think it was Wanda? was her friend's name? I'm trying to remember. Anyways, she was a wonderful lady, excellent best friend, and she was a trans woman.
Right.
And her family never accepted it. And there was this experience where she ended up dying during the story, so spoilers for that. And they didn't respect her wishes at the funeral either. And they used her dead name on the tombstone and everything. And then her best friend came along and defaced the tombstone to correct it. But just not following people's wishes after they've died, because I don't know whether it's more important for the grieving party or the, like the people who have had loss to be able to have a process that helps them get through it more, or if it's what is more important. Like, I don't know the priorities in this situation at all. And it kind of just, I'm again one of those people of going, if it's not going to harm anyone else, why not follow their wishes?
Right.
And that's kind of where I am on this topic. You have to go lower. Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
I don't know
we
why,
had a time
but
with
you
this
do.
before.
There you go. All right, so this one is very much like the older gentleman that we did here.
Yes.
But
I
there's
appreciate that they didn't make this very graphic, because part of me was like, oh dear.
we don't know what this will look like. Yes.
Yes.
And I also appreciate that. Now, they did, again, this game is pitched as a death-positive game.
Yes.
So, again, it is trying to deal with these issues in a warm and sensitive light, so far as I understand.
Right.
And for me,
I don't know if I necessarily feel warm and sensitive. What I feel is sort of this, particularly with the music, I gotta say, like, this does not come across as warm and sensitive. This comes across as sensitive, but not warm.
Okay,
This
so
comes across as more like sad and
maybe
sort of-
just sort of respectful?
I mean, I'm not saying it's disrespectful.
Anyway,
I'm just
I don't
saying-
know, but like the way they pitched the game, it sounded like it really was meant to not be scary or uncomfortable or anything other than to deal with topics that you're not used to in reference to death. Like, it is going to be things that you don't normally see and aren't normally exposed to, but they're not going to be painted in a negative light.
Right.
And that's all I know about it. I think, honestly, the music I'm not sure how to take, but people can have very, very different emotional experiences with music.
It's true, and that's one of those things that where like I get sort of iffy when people will go, no, it's this thing, and I'm like, like we've actually talked about before, and in reference to someone else actually bringing up that an individual had a reaction to basically a Disney movie that nobody really expects to have to a Disney movie of all
Right,
things.
and the thing is people can have very strong different reactions to things. Like, I even did one time where my brother was recording on the stereo some like late night DJ thing when I was a little kid, and when I listened to, like, when I walked upstairs and heard this weird, house industrial atmosphere music that I'd never heard before, and all the lights were off and nothing was going on, it was just creepy as hell.
I still can't believe you did it. I feel like I should have known, been able to do something to stop it.
Oh. There was no way to know. You can't blame yourself. He wouldn't have wanted that.
I know. It hurts.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah.
Ugh.
Losing people you care
I
about
heard
hurts.
it wasn't going to be an open casket.
I'm surprised it's public. Usually funerals for these circumstances are more private.
Yes. Because there's a level of, you're ashamed because it was your fault, that because the person themselves didn't have... Sorry, I might get a little emotional.
Oh, my friend, I support you.
It's okay. I'm fine.
Okay.
I wish we were closer. Wow, I can't believe this is real. My baby brother. I should have played more games with him when he asked.
Oh,
I'm okay.
it's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going this way now, guys.
All right, out of the
Excuse
funeral
me.
home. That's sad. I don't know what kind of death that I find to be the most tragic, because I don't think they can really be compared to each other if somebody wants to live and they end up dying. But in the case of suicide, I always feel like, while I don't feel in most cases that it's really anyone's fault, I do feel that it is a kind of a tragic loss, because that person, you always hope that people aren't abandoned so much or left out so much in their own internal emotional cold that they will make those kind of choices.
All right, let's look at then a message from Chad Grant, and I apologize. I was just like, we are pleased to bring on Rose and Daughters as part of Hillside Heritage Enterprises, Inc. There will be another institution institution among hundreds of other properties owned across the country. As if that's not dehumanizing or depersonalizing it at all. But of course, as part of the adjustment process to the Hillside Heritage Enterprises Inc. culture, there will be a number of changes that will come to Rose and Daughters. We will send out the memo regarding the specifics and details of these charges, and we expect them to be followed impeccably.
Changes.
These changes? I thought...
You said charges.
Oh, changes. I'm sorry. I'm glad to be leading the way for Rose and Daughters from now on.
I see. That's an interesting thing.
Oh.
Charlie, can I just say first off that this is bull crap? Knowing these corporations run, knowing how these corporations run, I wouldn't be surprised if they're monitoring our emails now. No, okay, I don't really believe in that. I'm just upset.
Okay, I'm gonna spoil it for you. They all do.
I get that.
They don't sit there and they don't monitor them unless they're suspicious of you.
But they're kept in a record.
They really are. They do
exist.
Like
they tell you in big corporations that all your emails will be kept in record for posterity, and nobody will necessarily be looking at them at all. But if for any reason any of them ever need to be used as evidence that they are there and you need to pay attention to what you say.
Yeah.
Like, it is really a thing of going, yes, our email server saves these. We don't have people monitoring them.
Yes, it's very different.
They are being kept track of, and they can be used as admissible evidence for things.
Yes.
I get that Amy didn't have much of a choice. You can only fight a huge corporation taking all your business for so long. This isn't 6 Feet Under. Is that that's a show
reference? It's 6 Feet Under. That was the thing that you watched.
No, that's Dead Like Me.
Oh, dang, I thought it was... Okay, well...
I don't know 6 Feet Under. We've seen some Pushing Daisies and
I've
some
heard
Dead
of
Like Me.
So 6 Feet Under was a hugely popular thing. So when I worked at Best Buy for a little while, I remember a ton of people coming in asking for 6 Feet Under. It was really funny. But like,
maybe it's about funeral business.
It was supposed to be like a black comedy, I think. Like, again, it's about death, so yeah.
All right. And they just swooped in, and now we have to deal with their BS practices. They are colder than the corpse I picked up from the morgue this morning. Who charges this much for funerals? Feels dirty and exploitative. Let's grab a drink after work. I need to blow off some steam, and emails aren't really the most appropriate place to do this. Too late for me, I guess. Ha ha ha.
Wow, we're really good friends with Matthew. Like
I mean, we have been there for quite a few months. P.S. If you're reading this,
P.S. If you're reading this, Hillside Overlord. Good.
Oh my god. Alright. From Chad Grant.
Hey Charlie, below are the details for our next client. Ensure you follow the requested specifications exactly. Charlotte.
They did not use Charlie.
Oh dang, rude. Right. After you are done, I'll review your work in order to properly evaluate you at the end of the month. Thank you, Mr. Grant, for agreeing to take Jocelyn's cremation. The bike accident was, it was more than I was expecting. I know she wanted to be cremated. To be honest, I don't think I could bear seeing her like that after what happened. Okay.
So this one also might be a little bit rough. I don't know how much variation they have on the bodies.
I hope that they don't. It doesn't look like they do so far, which I appreciate.
Right, so
but
we'll get right on it. The level of enthusiasm that Charlie has.
I'll get right
on it with an exclamation point, you know?
Charlie going, great.
Here we go.
I actually wonder, though, what kind of character Charlie is. Like, you're obviously getting that, there's some...
Oh, we gotta get the watch.
Ionesco? Ms. Ionesco. That's super
Or is it
cute.
Ionesco?
I think it's Ionesco. Why would you have a lowercase L?
Okay.
That'd be a little weird. Round identification coin...
Poink.
I appreciate that she's not mutilated.
I do too.
To just say bluntly, because I'm sure that's the thing that we were all going, great! I don't want to see her after that. And you're like,
And you're going,
oh God.
I'm glad she was wearing a helmet, because otherwise her head would be destroyed. Yes.
Yep.
All right.
I have actually heard cases where people are like, yep, we had to go through a really intensive, basically, recreation process because they are...
Because people went, I want an open casket. I want them to look completely natural. And you go, whoa. And other times you go, maybe we don't recommend an open casket.
Maybe not.
My friend bonks the post.
Well, it's because I never expect this to be like a grate. I'm just expecting it to be a thing you can go through because it's only 2-dimensional. So
it's okay. I just was thinking it's funny, like the real life bonk. I missed.
I do. Why do you want me to do these in order? It's fine.
It's very important that you do them in order. That's
such order. All right, Matthew, we'll take Ionesco to the funeral parlor and present it.
Is it Ionesco?
I think it's Ionesco.
I think so. It's probably. I just was thinking Ionesco.
Ionesco.
We got more people.
We do have more people.
Oh, she looks a mess.
Oh boy.
She was always so careful. Wore her helmet, signaled, used the bike lanes. Asshole drivers. They need to pay attention.
Have you heard what's happening to the driver?
No, I haven't wanted to ask Lee, this has been hard enough on them without asking about the legal ramifications of all of this.
I love that conflict, actually, in regards to, so I apologize, I'm going off on something else because I don't want to get too sad with this. This is pretty sad.
Yeah.
But it's literally just like, Leah, or Leia,
Or Lee.
or Lee.
Yeah.
Like, there's
I
a
don't
lot of
even
different
know.
ways to just say that particular
Lay.
name. It's wild.
Yes.
Yeah. After all this, let's see what we can do to help them. Shouldn't deal with the death of their partner all by themselves.
Oh, dear. I see.
Oh, it's a gay couple. Maybe?
Could be. So glad it was cremation. I would have lost it seeing her body. So yeah, this is very much sad times.
Yeah.
But we are here. We support you. We are also to support each other. My friend is sad.
I know.
Aw.
I'm like, this is hard on me. So even as much as like, so this whole series is probably going to be a little bit personal because death is pretty personal for a lot of people. But for me, I've been to a fair amount of funerals in my life. I have a really big extended family, but I also have been to not a lot of funerals, like of the people that I really cared about in my family. So some of it's really frustrating.
Okay.
Where-
Because sometimes you miss them and nobody tells you
And I didn't find out actually about a couple of them
until
later, and it was really frustrating actually. Kind of sorry, I'm like, I can't, because it still hurts.
Yeah.
That kind of thing of being like, I really did like them, and being like, I know not everybody has that particular problem, and like, I don't even know how to talk about this. I'm sorry. I'm like, guys, I have like, this is wild because like having a game specifically about, let's talk about death and try to make this more
And grief and
And
basically
grief.
the politics
And then
and socials around grief
right.
and around death.
I have to go through all of her things. How am I supposed to decide what to keep?
If you need help, I can help.
No, thanks. I mean, no, I don't know. It's so intimate. Feels like I should do it myself. She would kill me if others saw the things we have.
Oh, yeah, she was kind of a closed book, except you. Oh.
Yeah. She was special.
Oh.
Your poor partner.
Mhm.
That's fair.
As I said, the game seems very inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I'm here, but wow, I just need a glass of wine and to binge watch something right now.
Comfort food, basically, is what that starts feeling like.
I need escapism.
Should we do a vigil at the spot?
Careless drivers, I swear to God.
They're all pretty
wow.
sure. Poor thing, though. I'm
They
like,
are.
I wonder. Oh, I forgot to do the thing.
You can't leave.
My
You
apologies.
didn't pay your respects. You
I did not.
disrespectful
I
wench.
apologize. I've been wenched.
You've been wenched.
I've been wenched. All right.
It was a wenching.
It was a strong
It
wenching.
was a run by wenching. Hi. Alrighty. So we're gonna wrap this up here, because otherwise we're gonna have to go through a whole nother cycle.
It's true.
Oh,
let's
she's
do
caring
the.
for her plant.
She is caring for her plant. Let's take a look see though real quick about
What
the
we'll be
email.
preparing for the next episode.
Yeah, so we can see what we're getting into.
Yeah.
So we have a proper.
All right, from Matthew Jeffrey. Charlie, I need a drink. Beer after work? P.S. I really want mozzarella sticks. I can be both hungry and angry. Or no, I will not say hangry ever. Oops. Oh.
Oh boy.
That's you.
Hello! As stated in previous email, there are new rules and codes of conduct that I expect you to follow from now on while on any premises belonging to Hillside Heritage Enterprise is incorporated. First and foremost, this is a required uniform and strict dress code from now on. Second, most importantly, is that no tattoos are to be visible.
Oh.
If you have visible tattoos, ensure that they are properly covered and hidden. When speaking with customers and clients, consider the opportunity to upsell, i.e. always encourage the deceased loved ones to purchase the higher quality package. We find that encouraging loved ones to think of the comfort and style of the deceased as an experience with no price limit on it. Additionally, food is no longer allowed to be brought in. Instead, encourage the deceased loved one to purchase our premium sandwich and appetizer food package. Our partner catering concepts. Wow, they're really just like corporations.
Go ahead and go through
Our
this.
partner
I've got
catering
thoughts.
concepts provides highly quality food that will be delivered weekly from their factory and can be easily defrosted the morning of the funeral. This is so on the nose, like tee ha ha ha. Look at the bad guys, they're here. This is wild.
This is
I expect
also-
all of the above changes to be instituted effective immediately to ensure a smooth transition to the high-quality services Hillside Heritage Enterprises Incorporated is known for. Chad
Okay.
Grant.
So, in reference to that, just before we go
You're
anywhere
fine.
else, I really have a lot of things to say about that in reference to one, being in a company that was bought out once, and also in reference to working in customer service one time. So I took a brief stint at JCPenney Portrait Studios. That is the only direct customer service job I've ever had. I was a seasonal worker there. It was really fun to photograph families and kids and stuff for the holidays. It was a super cool job. Like, it didn't pay great and it didn't pay what I needed, but it was a really fun job, right?
I remember you liked it.
I did. I enjoyed it. But I enjoy photography. I always have. Anyway, so one of the things is they teach it to you as a salesperson. You're not there as a photographer, you're there as a salesperson, and you're not producing a product to make them, incredibly happy for the long term so much as to sell it to them right now. And the thing is they tell you to take completely different angles and different portraits at different props at different sizes, basically you want to do close-ups, you want to do full bodies, you want to do them at, vertical and, portrait, like portrait style and landscape style. And you want to make it so that they feel like they're missing out if they don't buy more photos than they planned.
Yeah.
Like, you're always trying to upsell them. And that is something that I've come to understand, is basically your good, and I put good in quotes, but it is good capitalism practices. Like, this is how you succeed in capitalism. You try to upsell everything, and you basically give people the feeling that, in this case of the funeral, and I've heard this controversy before, I've actually experienced this a little bit in reference to the very limited experience I had with death, of people going, you need to think of the comfort and the care and the respect of your dead one, your deceased individual.
Yeah.
And going that the funeral business can be a lot like the wedding business, of going, it's just this massive amount of trappings for other people, and all of it is about selling.
Yeah.
And again, that makes a lot of money for the people who do it in a capitalist society, so they are being successful in the way they've been trained. But this makes me deeply uncomfortable, and I feel like the author did a really good job presenting this here, without making him too much of a mockery, mustache twisting supervillain kind of thing. He really is just this is corporate stuff, and this is what we're doing.
This is how we handle this material. Thank you.
And so you calling it very on there is very appropriate. So we're going to wrap up right here, my bros.
Yes.
And in the meantime,
thank you very much for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or our Patreon if you'd like to support us, if you'd like to sponsor us, or maybe if you'd just like to tip us or just say hi. Honestly, that's cool too. We also appreciate any of your thoughts. If you have a personal experience and you're here with us, please feel free to share.
Actually,
this is very personal, for sure. And I will say, I'm gonna end with a closing note from me, because I'm Scandal. Is really I have found this game so far, even though we've only played a few episodes of it right now, to be way more interesting compared to the other death games that my friend Liza and I have ever played before, where they're specifically either about suicide or they're about, suicide ideation even, and also death itself.
Or they're just dark and edgy sort of murder games and stuff like that.
And this is actually really interesting and kind of touching in an interesting way. It still makes me mostly sad. This is not a let's be heartwarming kind of thing to me.
And as Scandal said earlier, the intention isn't to dig too deeply into the sad. We don't want to drag you through this and be like, let's just be sad for the sake of sad and hurt.
Yeah.
It's to go through a process, and if you have some sadness, absolutely have it. But we're not going to put you in an audio environment that will trap you there.
Right.
And demand that's the full experience.
Please, for the love of God, please leave if you ever find yourself just sort of, basically, I think what I saw on Twitter, there was a description of it called doom scrolling, basically, or doom watching, I guess in this case, where you just repeatedly keep going through more and more dark stuff, and you keep spiraling, basically.
Basically, if it's something that's hurting you and you just keep digging into it.
Please don't do that.
And very much.
We care about you guys too much, even if we don't necessarily know you. I don't think it's a good thing to do that to another human being. So please take care of yourselves.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, I have been Liz,
and it was great playing with you.
Bye.